Hi everybody! You know it, since March we are all confined. It's so boring to only spend time in a house. That's why with Quentin, we decided to take you on a journey. Where? To Morocco for the Traite trophy. Let's see that.
Creatures of my dreams raise up and dance with me. Now and forever, I'm
Wow! It seems to be crazy! But what is really the 4L trophy? The 4L trophy was created 24 years ago by Jean-Jacques Ray, also known as GG. The main goal of it is to bring furniture to disfavored children in order to help them to have access to education. That's why every year, more than 2,000 students from 18 to 28 years old fill their mythic run of 4L of school supplies. During 2 weeks, they will cross Spain and face the Moroccan desert in order to deliver their donation to children. Each day, the numerous cows will have to find their way in the desert. And the less kilometers you do between two bivouacs, the higher classment you get. A format that allows students to live an incredible human adventure in the desert for a good cause.
It is very hard for Moroccan children to have access to education. Even if the prince is doing such important reforms to fight against this issue, it is not enough. That's why the Traite trophy decided to do a partnership with Les Enfants du Désert, an association who is also fighting for education in Morocco. Thanks to them, each year all the school supplies are directly distributed and equally distributed to families and children. Their role is such important as it is not possible to give directly school supplies to children. You have to do that through an association like Les Enfants du Désert. If you don't, all the kids and teenagers would steal the school supplies to the youngest by hurting them. And then they will sell the school supplies to earn money. Without Les Enfants du Désert, it will be impossible to distribute properly our donation.
As you see, there are rules, and in order to know a little bit more about the rules, we have decided to interview the creator and director of the 4L trophy, JJ.
Hi sir, so we just presented the Traite trophy to our viewers, but can you tell us a little bit more about this amazing event?
Traite trophy is such an amazing adventure. Thanks to that, thousands of young adults will be linked for their life by this experience. But as such an important event requires rules, of course. You have already said that the main point that is not giving school supplies directly to children. It entails a lot of violence, and the school supplies are finally not distributed to children who really needs it.
Yes, that can be a real issue. Are there other rules like this?
Okay, so actually not that much. We just want participants to drive safely, so we installed our own radars on the track. If they don't respect the speed limitation, they risk to stop their adventure. We also recommend them not to eat uncooked Moroccan vegetables or to drink water who are not in closed bottles. It would be unfortunate to be sick during the trip.
Sounds pretty clear. It is such an enormous event. Can you tell us a little bit more about some key numbers so that we can have an idea about the importance of the 4L trophy?
Of course. So it's 1,204 Ls each year. 10 kilos of food supplies by car, 8 tons of food distributed to 20,000 underprivileged families, 2 school bags per car, and 25 classrooms constructed, and over 28,000 euros collected to build other classrooms and nursery schools. Moreover, 100 bikes, helmets, and reflective safety vests have been given to children by Noroto, a partner of the 4L trophy.
Incredible, just incredible. Thank you very much for those informations and see you soon.
So you've understood how important this trip is for the students and the American children. In addition to all the experiences and adventures students have, the 4L trophy allows them to discover a new country with new cultures and new landscapes. For the 6th time this year, 40 crews have become ambassadors of the 4L trophy. For a day, they have met children in different schools. They have played and grown with them. Every crew had realized the project either to help the construction of schools or to do an activity with the school children. Moreover, the association Enfants du Désert were at the first camp in Marzuga to collect all the stuff we brought to them. It was also a great occasion to discuss with them about their project. And also, it was the time for the other crew to play with young Americans who were in the basement, so they could do some game with them like the tug of war, dodgeball, and others.
By doing the 4L trophy, you will also do tourism and visit Marrakech. We discovered the souk. The ambience is very weird in those places. Each seller is kind of harassing you when you pass in front of its stand. There are a lot of tourists, but when you lose yourself a little bit, you may discover very authentic shops without tourists. Walking in those places is an occasion to eat the famous Moroccan food, the couscous tagine. We've all eaten some in France, but believe me, it is so much better there.
So the 4L trophy is definitely a beautiful human adventure in which one we had the chance to discover new cultures and new landscapes. These trips made us go through different landscapes. We went through the sand dunes, we even slept next to them, but we also drive through arid deserts and endless road. We even climbed several high paths in the Atlas.
How won't you do the 4L trophy? Everything seems to be so perfect, but is it really the case? In order to know that, I decided to interview someone who has already done the 4L trophy last year and someone who is about to do it next year. The main goal of this interview is to ask them the same questions. Let's see how they react, and let's begin our expectation vs reality interview. So here we go again. On the one hand, we have Victoire. She is already registered as crew number 30 for next year. And the other hand, we have Quentin. He just realized the 4L trophy in February. Question number 1. Is it easy to take part of the adventure?
Yes, very easy. I decided 1 month ago to do it and I finished my registration yesterday. I guess that I only have to find a car. And after that, it's just fun in the desert dune of Morocco.
Wow, you seem pretty enthusiastic. Let's see if Quentin thinks the same thing.
Actually, it seems easy, but it's complicated as hell. First, you have to create an association. This one will help to find sponsors, and finding sponsors is the worst things. In fact, you need the help of companies in order to finance us. because from the purchase of the car to the final registration, you have to find 8,000 euros, and it also says to say that it's not a piece of cake. But you also have to know that the 4L is very old car. Mine was from 83, and so you have to deal with a lot of mechanical issues, and you have to fix them, and it takes a very long time. So you see, it's very complicated to be ready in time, but it's worth it.
Yo, I didn't expect that. I am not sure that Victoire realized that at all. But let's continue with question 2. What do you think about the Moroccan and their culture?
Moroccans have a very different culture. They are very friendly and welcoming. Moreover, I've heard that the prince really permitted the economic growth of the country. So I guess that there is less poverty and that is less choking than it used to be. I am so excited to meet them very soon.
Quentin, you can't deny this, I guess.
Actually, I just partially agree with her. The prince is doing very good work, but the 4L trophy is focusing on very poor population in poor towns. So there is a real gap between the rich and the poor. In the village we crossed, there was a lot of poverty, and sometimes we even see violence. Moreover, I had the bad luck to be nearly arrested. A band of 6 teenagers stop out the car and try to open the car boot. Fortunately, it was closed and we managed to leave.
I see. They are very welcoming, but there is still some poverty and violence that can be threatening, of course. But let's finish with my last question. As I understood, the students are doing more than 6,000 kilometers during the trip. So, aren't you scared about having an accident?
No, I have my driving license for 2 years now, so I really drive well and I feel very confident to drive 7 hours per day. Moreover, you are in the desert, so it's easy not to have an accident. And we all know that driving on the highways is pretty easy.
Victor, you will be shocked when you'll see how tiring it is to drive that long for 2 weeks. The car is not dedicated to go in the desert, and it suffered a lot from the sand and dust. We had a lot of mechanical issues. We broke down many times, and we were so tired when we came back to France that we had a fatal accident. So you have to stay focused from the beginning till the end, and it's very hard.
Thank you very much, Quentin, to have shared your experience with us. And I am sure that Victoire won't do the same mistakes as you did. So, thank you to you too, and see you soon.
We are young, idealist, realistic, arrogant, adventurer, ambitious and curious. We want to be alone in the desert, to be free, to sleep under the stars. More than ever, we want to live.